Nigeria, popularly known as the Giant of Africa, is endowed with immense tourism attractions capable of attracting international tourists and investors. With its numerous beautiful landscape, waterfalls, caves, hills, rock formations, green vegetation, culture, art, and craft, these tourism potentialities could yield huge economic benefits when adequately explored. Nigerian documentary photographer Dayo Adedayo expresses great love for his fatherland, investing his resources in documenting Nigerian tourism sites. Adedayo, also a cultural anthropologist and author, describes Nigeria as the most beautiful country in the world.
Photographing Nigeria has been a life project for me. I started documenting Nigeria in 2002. Yes, 2003. That was my first time in Abuja, and I was blown away with what I saw in Abuja. How beautiful Abuja was, sparsely populated, and the greens. I went to Abuja here in May. I think they've had their first rain or so. Then when you're driving on those major roads and you are going on top of the hill, you sure see the greens and the black tar road and the white lanes and stuff. And that was what developed my interest in photographing Nigeria. And I studied abroad, and there is no country, mostly Kenya, South Africa, Ghana, that haven't got a book on tourism. So when you go to all these tourist bookshops, you see pictorial books on them, but there's nothing on Nigeria. That was what made me to develop interest in documenting Nigeria. The most captivating of Nigerian landscapes, I would say, is on the Mambila Plateau. Funny enough, I took Mambila Plateau just about in 2010 or thereabout. Before then, I was in Obudu in 2004, and I was blown apart with what I saw in Obudu. And by the time I went back again, that day was really, really, really funny. I could see the cloud coming towards me. That was in 2005. Yes, 2005. The cable car was working, so I went on the cable car. Then at a point, the cable car went into the cloud, and you will not see anything again. Even to see, you can't see anything beyond where you are because you are in an enclosed environment. But getting to the mountaintop, it was really, really beautiful. And I said to myself then, oh my God, we are not selling Nigeria. We need to market Nigeria to the rest of the world to see how beautiful Nigeria is. 2010 or 11 was when I drove to the Mambila. My God, I was totally blown away. And because I drove myself in Obudu first time, 22 kilometers from Bottom Hill to the top of the hill, I thought it was breathtaking. The Mambila Plateau from Bottom Hill to Gembu was 122 kilometers of breathtaking beauty. The winding roads, unfortunately, there was no drone technology then for me to actually capture the plateau. And there is nowhere that beats the Mambila Plateau in Nigeria. I haven't been around Nigeria, unless you want to just oppose philosophically the greens, the mountains, and then the flat plains of Borno in Damasak, where as far as the eye could see, all you will be seeing is just the sand dunes of Damasak and wind blowing constantly. I think there was even a house around that the sand have covered up because of the wind. Very fine sand, but it's a very beautiful place to visit as well.
He says government needs to look in the direction of developing religious tourism, which can be a money spinner for the nation.
It is quite unfortunate that Nigeria as a country do not see tourism as a potential economy boomer. One, tourism anywhere in the world employs the largest of labors because when you talk of, look at Saudi Arabia. Every year they are guaranteed a minimum of $20 billion. From where? From religious tourism, because people have to go to the Hajj. If you're a Muslim, it's part of the 5 pillars of Islam, and the last pillar of Islam, actually. Then if you look at Jerusalem to Israel to, they are making a lot of money from religious tourism. And in Nigeria, Ogun State, to me, not to anybody, I've never had anybody say it, Dayo Adedayo coined it, Ogun State is the Jerusalem and Mecca of Nigeria. Why? All the largest churches in Nigeria are domiciled in Ogun State. And the largest of them are the Redeemed Christian Church of God. At least every month will have 1 million visitors to that site. 2, the largest Islamic ground in Nigeria is also in Ogun State. You have the Bishop Oyedepo Church as well in Ogun State. You have the Celestial Church of Christ Church in Ogun State. The founder was actually buried in Meko in Ogun State. And this Celestial Church of Christ used to be the largest church in the world before the demise of Pa Oshofa.
Still speaking on the beauty of the nation, Adedayo says every geopolitical zone of the nation can boast of at least one unique tourism asset.
Then you now talk of cultural. You have the Osun Oshogbo Cultural Grove, the Grove in Osun State. In Cuba and South America today, the fastest growing religion is Ifa. So, to me, I don't know those who are in charge of our tourism, there is a lot to talk about. That's just the Southwest. I'm not even going to the Southeast. If you go to the Southeast is full of caves. From the most beautiful, which is Ogbauku in Anambra, you go to Enugu, you have the Ohum Cave. You go to Ebonyi, you've got the Amancho Cave. You go to Abia, you have the Long Juju of Arushiku Cave. Scattered all over the place. Then you leave the Southeast, you go to the South-South. The South-South, aside from Plateau State, to me, Dayo Adedayo, I don't know if anybody else, is the most beautiful part of Nigeria, second most beautiful part of Nigeria after Plateau State. Why? I've been on the creeks, from rivers to Akwa Ibom, from Akwa Ibom to Delta. I've been on all the creeks. And when you're on your boat going around these creeks, you just wonder why nobody talks about all these things, why these things are not publicized for the rest of the world to see the beauty of our land. You leave the South-South, you now go to North Central. You leave Abuja, just slightly after the border is the Zuma Rock, which is in Niger State. You have the Gurara waterfalls. You leave Niger, you go into Nasarawa State. You have the most spectacular waterfall in Nigeria, which is the Feriruwa waterfall in Nasarawa State. Then you leave that, you veer off to the northwest, where you have a lot of religious things on Islamic religion. And I found out that the Sokoto Museum was the best in the country in terms of content. Anything on Nigeria, if you get to the Sokoto Museum, you will see. Lagos on its own is massive for tourism. The largest monument ever built in Africa, 10 times much more than the pyramid in Giza, is in Lagos State. Shugmeredo in Ekpe. We don't market, we don't talk about it. Then Lagos is the heartlands of Africa. Unfortunately, all these things are there for us to explore. Several beaches, several clubs. Lagos Island is full of historical colonial relics that can be tapped into. Then there is a new museum in Lagos that has not been opened yet, which is the Yoruba Heritage Museum, which is going to blow everybody away.
He urged government to exploit Nigeria's tourism industry for economic boom.
All these things are there, but in capturing all these things, and because we are not used to tourism, the security organizations do not understand when someone brings out a camera to take pictures. I've been arrested several times, detained, and I really find out that Nigeria is the most difficult country in the world to photograph. And when we don't photograph ourselves, how will people know us? They know us for negative things. Meanwhile, this is the largest black nation on the surface of the planet. And you just wonder why Nigeria is not tapping into these tourism potentials. Should Nigeria work today, we will see a turnaround in our economy in less than 4 years.